So lately, I have been obsessed with the song Hide It by Don Toliver and Wiz Khalifa. So obsessed with it that I actually wanted to make a whole video based around the production because I love the beat that much. Now in this video, we're gonna break down the melody and the drums for this beat. Then I'm gonna be giving y'all all the secret sauce that I found. And lastly, we're gonna be making our own Wiz Khalifa x Cardo type beat in the end. So make sure to stick it out to the end, brother. Oh, real quick, roughly 50% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So let's change that. I post a lot of content and it's all bettering your production, brother. All right, so first things first, shout out to everybody who is a part of this song, specifically the production. You know, I'm a producer. Guess what? I'm biased. So shout out to Cardo, Jason Martin, Foley Beats. All right, so let's get started with the drums and the secret sauce that I found to instantly get that Cardo bounce. So if we go over to where the drum loops over, we just use this 4 bars right here, and we change the grid to 1/4 beat, you'll see something very interesting. You'll see that all of the drums that are in this beat are aligned with one of the grids on the 1/4 beat pattern. Now, what does that mean? It means that if we go into the piano roll and we change the grid to 1/4 beat and we lay our drums down like that, we can get the same bounce that Cardo has on his beats. Now, that is easier said than done, because if I just do this right here, it's gonna sound bad. It actually didn't sound as bad as I thought, but that's actually one of the benefits of using the 1/4 beat grid, is that since there's less options, it's gonna be way harder to mess up. So when you're trying to get this bounce down, it's gonna be way easier than doing it on a smaller grid like this, because there's way more options. So there's a couple things that we have to keep in mind when laying down drums in this grid. One is sound selection. Using the right sounds for these types of beats is going to be very crucial to trying to get this sound, because you can have the bounce, but if the sounds are all different and weird, you're not really going to get the same type of vibe. 2 is going to be varying the sounds, because if you only use 1 or 2 percussion sounds, it's going to get really repetitive and the bounce isn't necessarily going to be there. So you're going to have to make sure that you're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 different sounds to make these patterns with. And 3rd is going to be basing these patterns around the claps, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Something I noticed is that it's a lot of 808 inspired drum sounds. So things like rim shots, cowbells, toms. If we go over to the Cali Bounce drum kit, which is available on gatekeepsounds.com, and we go over to the percussion section, you can see it's going to be sounds like this. Sounds that are very synonymous with the West Coast, but are kind of based off of those 808 original samples. So now that we have the sound selection part down, let's get a little bit of variation with them. So to make something like this, some of the sounds I chose were this triangle right here from the kit, this rim, this laser, which I made very short just because I felt like it kind of matched the vibe of some of the sounds that was in the beat, this cowbell, this tom, and this bongo. And I'm also going to be using the deep end hi-hat just because I like it. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites, you know what I mean? Wait, real quick, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I just want to let you know that I dropped a multi-kit that has 148 sounds in it for only $7. The value in this kit easily is like $30, $40, $50, but I wanted to make something real affordable for the people, so I only dropped it for $7. And the best part about it is that everything is royalty free. First link in the description. Please go get it. Help support your boy. You feel me? Lastly, the Tsunami open hat. So now that we got the first 2 steps out the way, we're going to go into the 3rd, which is basically basing the sounds around the claps. So what I mean by basing it around the claps is going to the spaces that are near the claps. So for instance, instead of putting this right here, we can put it right here, so it kind of leads into the clap. You know what I mean? And then we can get another sound to go after it, like this bongo right here. Actually, you know what? Let's switch these 2. And then we can throw the rim shot on the other one as well. And then once you get those sounds down, you can actually base other sounds around that one. So we can get that little triangle real quick and we can throw it right here. Now let's throw down a kick real quick. I'm going to be using the knock kick out of the Cali Bounce drum kit. And we're going to throw down a couple real quick, just so it's easier to kind of like get that bounce. Now let's just try to add in some of the other sounds as well. Now this is a classic like trick that I always hear in West Coast music, is doing the little, I call it the double shot. Instead of just doing like a one like this, you just do two and then you make one of them a lower velocity. And then we can just throw in the open hat. We can layer some of them with the kicks, and we can also use some of them for a bounce as well. So one, we can layer. See, oh, we kind of getting the bounce already. See, then you can just have fun with it, bro. Like, and that's a dope thing about this technique too, is that if you want to try to make something work, or you don't even really know what to do, you can just move things over, be like, did that work? Okay, no. Did that work? Okay, no. And then when you're just making these patterns, you can just alternate in between these sounds and just keep on going one by one by one and just trying to like figure them out. And you see, you can kind of get the bounce just like that. Now I'm going to stop right here because we are going to make a full beat at the end. So I don't really want to go off the deep end like that, if you feel me. But what we can do is go into the melody next. Now the melody, I'm going to keep it kind of brief because Foley actually did a breakdown on how he made the melody for this track. Now the one thing that I hate about this video is the lead that's in this beat is one of my favorite parts about the beat, and it looks like Foley didn't do the lead. So when he posted this video, I was so excited because I'm like, oh, the lead, bro, the lead. So I will leave this video linked in the description, but here's a couple things that I took from the video that I think can be very good for y'all to know as well. First things first, look at these chords. I ain't gonna lie, I've used ripcord a lot. These kind of look like ripcord chords to me. Foley is probably one of the most talented producers I've ever seen. Genuinely one of my favorite producers. So it wouldn't shock me if he made the chords on his own, like he just played them or he pieced them in like one by one. But I wouldn't put it beside him to use ripcord as well, because it's just such a powerful, cool tool. When we make the melody, I am going to be using ripcord so we can kind of get this vibe. But just a couple things to note right here is these chords are big, so we're going to be looking for big chords, no like little triads or anything like that. We're looking for big chords. Another thing I noticed too is that the chord progression isn't too crazy. It's not moving around a lot. It's really just 3 chords being played over like a couple bars. So just one big chord, split the other section up into 2. It's like, all right, cool, that's cool and manageable. We can make that happen. And something that really surprised me is the bass line is super spaced out and simple. So when we're making the melody, we got to remember big chords spaced out, and then bass incredibly simple and spaced out as well. But at the end, do a little funky run riff thing, whatever you want to call it. All right, so now it's time to cook up a beat in the style of Hide It by Wiz Khalifa and Don Toliver. And low key, bro, I want to start with the drums. First things first, we're laying down the clap. Now, something I forgot to mention earlier in the video is that in the song for Hide It, the second clap is delayed like that. I'm not going to do that just because I'm not trying to fully copy this beat. I still want to have my own sauce with it. But what we can do is we can take the last one and move it to the side. And another thing that I noticed that he did is that he used a snare, and he would alternate the snare and the clap and everything like that. So maybe we can do that too. Wait. Why do a snare? We can do a snap. And that makes it a little bit more different too. And now let's just make sure. All right, 1/4 beat. And let's start laying down some of these drums, bro. Oh, you know what? We should throw in like a cymbal too. And now I'm just gonna be bouncing around these sounds right here until we get a pattern that we really like. I need something right there. Maybe a shaker could be right there. Let's see if we could do something like that. I hear a little right here, so we need to throw something up in there. Maybe we can get a laser. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Oh, I'm liking this. I'm liking this right here. Ooh, I'm liking this. Remember, don't rush this whole thing. If it takes you a couple minutes, let it happen for a couple minutes. You feel me? Because getting this drum pattern right is gonna make or break the beat. Tamborine's kind of harder. All right, so now we gotta start working on the melody, bruh. So I'm gonna go open up Analog Lab V. We're gonna go over to Summer Nights 3. If you ain't got Summer Nights 3, or at least the free demo version, you're actually asleep, bro. I'll leave it first link in the description, but it's basically the Analog Lab Bank that me and Lifestyle did it in collaboration, where we fuse R&B and West Coast sounds together, and we make just like very usable sounds that you can use for your beats. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna get an E-piano. We're also gonna open up Ripcord. I'm gonna show y'all how to connect Ripcord to a VST so you can play everything out. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over to this tab right here, and then for Ripcord, you're gonna go to output port and change it to literally any number. I just changed it to 1. Then you're gonna go to your VST that you want to link it to. You're gonna hit the same tab, and then instead of going to output, you're gonna go to input and put it as the same number, and now they're linked together. So now when you go over to Ripcord and press a key, you can hear it's that E-piano. That's tough. Maybe we gotta... Oh, bet y'all didn't know that trick, by the way. If you have 2 notes and you want to change like the positioning of the end and the starting of them, you can have them highlighted. You can hold down shift on your keyboard, and then you can click and just drag them over like that. And then we can change up this one. Also, lower the velocities, bro. This one's tough. That chord is tough right there. So I really like this chord progression. So we're going to right click, hit burn to MIDI current pattern, and then boom, we got our chords. All right, now let's sauce these chords up a little bit. We're going to hit Alt R to randomize the velocity. And then you can do Alt S to strum, but when you're doing that, you're trying to get like the essence of you're actually playing the melody. And if you're keeping everything on the 1 like this, or you're doing the same strum every single time, it's both going to sound a little robotic. So what I like to do is I like to hit Shift M so it can randomize the chords that we're choosing, and then I do the Alt S. But for this one, there isn't really any notes being clicked on here, so I'll probably just click on a couple of them, a couple random ones, hit Alt S, and then I do the strum. So there's this guy called AP Melodies. He's insane. He has some of the most insane beats I've ever heard on Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that. And there was one lead that he used. Long story short, I saw a beat from him. It had a crazy lead in it, and I was like, dude, what was that preset? And he's like, oh, it's the OSC lead in Xenology. I'm like, oh, I love that. Okay, but the thing is that there's not one that's just specifically called OSC lead, at least in the expansions that I have. So I kind of messed around with some of them, and I found that this one right here is kind of similar to the lead that's in Hide It. It kind of gives that vibe a little bit. Let's get some strings in here, bro. Something real subtle. It's like some old R&B type stuff. Let's take these chords right here, copy it over into Analog Lab, and we can try to find a pad to layer with these chords. Alright, let's try to find a bass real quick. Before I check anywhere else, I want to see if we have a good one in Summer Nights 3 that'd be perfect for this vibe. Oh, this one might be the move low key. Copy it over and then switch this part over here. Now, the thing I remembered, Foley kept it stupid simple. So I'm trying to like see which ones I can take out. Do it like that. Make it even more simple. Now we just gotta do some quick arrangement. We're gonna go split by channel. We're just gonna bring all the sounds in real quick. All right, so intro, make it quick. Hook will be 8 bars. What is that? 16 bars for the verse. We can get rid of that, 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 get rid of that. I'm being kind of random right now, low key. Yeah, that'll probably work. Now we just gotta get that final listen through one time, bro.
Hey, go ahead, Infinite.
Shout out to y'all for making it to the end of the video, and shout out me for making the video. Shout out Cardo, Foley, Jason Martin. I'm just used to calling him Problem, but I think he wants to be called Jason Martin now. Shout out everybody. You feel me? Shout out Don Tolliver. Shout out Wingz. I'm out. Peace.